Matthew 24, verse 13, Jesus says, "He that endures to the end, the same shall be saved." People will take that verse right there, just take it right out of the context of Matthew 24 and say that if you don't endure in your faith, if your faith gets shaken or you have a traumatic experience and you're not sure what you believe anymore, that you've lost your salvation because you let it go. That's not what this verse is saying. Context, context, context. The 3 rules of real estate are location, location, location. The 3 rules of Bible study are context, context, context. Matthew 24, Jesus is answering 3 questions, but a large part of it is describing the tribulation period. How do you know that? Because you compare Matthew 24 with Revelation 6. Revelation 6 is describing the first 6 seal judgments of the tribulation period. In Matthew 24, Jesus describes each of those 6 seal judgments in description, in concept, even in the exact same order. He just doesn't call them seal judgments, but they're there in the exact same order. He's describing the tribulation period in Matthew 24. And he says, if you endure to the end of what? The 7-year tribulation period, you shall be saved. Why is he saying that? He's giving them encouragement. If you get to verse 22, it says, except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. It's going to be such a horrific time. Nowhere in human history, before or after, will there ever be a time that bad, where that many people are dying and suffering. And Jesus is giving encouragement to the tribulation saints at that time. He's saying, if you make it to the end of those 7 years, you're going to be rescued. The word saved is sozo, which often means salvation, but it also can mean rescued, delivered. You can be sozo, saved from like an enemy army, or from an attacker, from an illness, from fire, from all sorts of perilous situations. He's saying, if you endure to the end of what? The tribulation. That's the context of Matthew 24. You make it to the end, you will be saved. He will come back, he will rescue, he will deliver, he will sozo save. This is not talking about salvation. This is talking about being saved or rescued, delivered from the tribulation period. It says in 2 Timothy 2:13, if we believe not, some translations will say if we are faithless or if we are unfaithful, he remains faithful, for he cannot deny himself. If your salvation depended on your faithfulness, you're in trouble, because there are all times where we waver, and if you happen to die in one of those moments, then boom, you're out. Like, really? Matthew 24 is not talking about losing your salvation. If you go back to Matthew 10, verse 22, you see the same thing. He says, he that endures to the end shall be saved. If you read verses 19 to 23, Matthew 10, 19 to 23, he's giving a quick description of the tribulation period as well. It parallels very well with Matthew 24, which is parallels to Revelation 6. It's all describing the tribulation. The context makes it clear he's not talking about your salvation and your eternity. He's talking about being delivered from the tribulation period. He's giving his disciples and tribulation saints encouragement in that. I hope this clears things up. Thank you guys for watching. God bless.